Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to our channel ML for Analytics and welcome to this particular playlist Tax OTC. So friends, today I am going to talk about another table functions which is all except and all selected. So if you are following this particular playlist, so in the last two videos we have covered filter, related table and related functions. So in this video I am going to cover these three table functions which belong to kind of same family, you can say all except and all selected. They have slightly different behaviors based on their use cases. So we'll discuss all the use cases and we'll discuss the scenarios where they can be used. So let's get started. So friends, here I have opened the Power BI desktop and let me start with the all command first. So all command can be used inside a calculated table or creating a calculated column or inside a measure. So we'll discuss all these scenarios. So let us first discuss the scenario where all can be used to create a table, or we can say calculated table. So in this scenario what I have done is I have created a particular table. You can see that I have chosen two particular columns of one table which is dim product. So I have chosen the adventure work database. So in that we already have dim product table, in which there are multiple columns including product name, product description and product class, color, size, everything. So what I have done is I have chosen only two columns, that is dim product class and dim product color, and I have passed that to all function. So all function, first of all, it can accept either a table name or a single column name or a list or comma separated value of multiple columns. So what it will do is all command always returns the existing all unique possible combinations for these two columns. So basically if I am passing one column, so it will return me the unique values inside that column. Okay. Now if I am passing two columns, so all the existing unique combinations in that table would be returned. Let me just scroll up. So you can see that I have plotted this particular table all demo, and you can see all the possible combinations. These are all unique combinations which are already present inside the dim product table. So all command will return me this particular thing. Now if I am obviously removing one thing, then I will get the unique combination, all possible unique values for this particular column. So if I am including this, so this is the behavior of table visual itself. So this is the behavior of all command when it is used to create a calculated table. Now similarly, let us come to all except command. So what all except will do is, so what is the basic difference of between all and all except? So all, I need to pass either a table or all the column names which I require to create a particular calculated table. Now all except will work in such scenarios. Suppose we define a scenario, we want to create a calculated table and we want that only these columns should be excluded, and apart from that if any new column is added to the underlying table, that should automatically be included in this table also. So what I am trying to say is, let me just open the table itself, the code which I have created for this particular table. So here you can see that I have included dim product table, right? Dim product table, I have included these all values. So product key, French description, German description, all these description columns. So actually what I am doing here is I am saying that all except the first argument is a table name, except these fields or column names, include the rest of the columns. So are you getting my point? So what it will do is it will create a table, a calculated table, and it will return me all the unique possible combinations, existing unique possible combinations inside the table, excluding these particular columns. So suppose if I'm in the future I'm adding one more column in the product table, dim product table, so that will be automatically included in this particular calculated table, because I have not added in this particular list that column name. So only these would be excluded, and rest all in the future also if I'm adding any new column to the table, it will be included. So okay, now we come to the scenario where we can use all inside a measure. So for this, let me define a scenario again. Suppose you want to calculate the sales percentage. Okay, so how you will calculate it? Let us discuss about this. So what you will do is, suppose I want to calculate the sales percentages based on product category or product subcategory name for each product category. What is the sales percentage against the total sales? So what I will do is, first I will calculate the sales amount for each category. Then I will calculate separately the the overall sales, the total sales amount, and then I will divide the sales amount by the all sales amount for each category, and I will get the sales percentage, right? So these are the steps to do. Let us see how we have done here. So what I have done is, I have already created a table and I have created some measures. So I'll just show you what I have done is, so the first column you can see, that is the product subcategory name. This I have included from this particular table, that is in product subcategory. Next, I have created few measures. So I'll just show you the code for the measures. So let me just expand this. So let me start with the first measure, which is sales amount. So sales amount is a pretty simple measure. We have discussed in the previous videos also. So what I have done is, I've just taken the sum of the sales amount column of the fact internet sales table. You can do it like this also using SUMX function. So it will give you the same result. Next column is sales percentage. So how I have calculated the sales percentage. So let us see that. So I will select this particular measure and let's see what I have done here. So here I have chosen two measures. So I have created two measures, fact sales amount and all fact sales amount. So let us go to those measures first. So what actually I have done here. So first of all, I will open the fact sales amount. So what I have done here, this is again a very simple way of calculating the sales amount. This is a different way, you can say. So instead of taking the sum of the sales amount column, I can do like this also, because the sales amount column is also calculated column I have added inside the table. But in that, what I have done is, I have taken the product of order quantity and unit price for each row. So same you can do in measure also, as we have discussed the SUMX command, that it iterates over a table and calculate this particular expression for each row, and it will return me this particular SUMX, right? Okay, so now let us see all fact sales amount, what I have done here. So I'll just select this particular measure. Okay, so now here you can see that instead of passing the table name itself, I have wrapped the all command for this particular table name. So I'm passing this fact internet sales table to the all command. So friends, let us try to understand what this particular measure is doing. So what it will do is, as you know, SUMX is an iterator, okay? So what it will do is, for each iteration, so every time the whole table will be passed, right? So what it will do is, all fact internet sales table command will be executed first. So it will return the whole table, right? Then what SUMX will do, it will iterate on all the rows and it will calculate this number, and it will return me then the total sales of all the products or whatever rows are present inside the sales amount. So all the sales, okay? So it will return me a single number which will reflect the total sales amount, right? So now what we have done is, now we have created sales percentage as we discussed earlier. I showed you earlier the function. Let me open it again. So in this measure, what we are doing is, I have divided the first measure which I showed you, fact sales amount, divided by, this is the denominator, all fact sales amount, right? So what is the difference between the two? Basically, this measure will get filtered in the filter context, or wherever we are placing it, so it will get filtered by those values. But this particular measure, it will ignore all the filters in the report, because all command basically ignores all the filters. So this is the basic behavior of all command, whether you use in a calculated table or in a measure, or there is some advanced use cases also where we use all command in calculate. So there basically all function doesn't return a table, but it is used as an argument to calculate function to ignore the outer filter context. So basically we'll talk about that thing when we will study the filter context and later on the calculate and calculate table command. So here we will discuss the first two scenarios, that is the calculated table which we have already discussed, and now all function being used in a measure. So here we can see that as I have already told you that all function will ignore all the filters. You can remember this for now. I have added this measure. Now you can see that what it will do is the first numerator will be this number. Okay, so this is the number. So if you take it separately, it will also return the same number which this sales amount measure is returning. So 39,591, suppose we are taking bike stands, divided by this. So this particular measure will return this number, right? So this divided by this, and we have converted into percentage. You can see I have clicked this, so it will convert this number from points to percentage. So it is returning me 0.13%. Now obviously this number is big, so you can see that it is 17%. So this way it will convert it into percentage. So now let us see another measure. There is another way of doing this. Basically I have broken into three steps. First I calculated this separately, then this separately, and then this particular. So I have basically created three measures. So I just wanted to show you this one way. There is another way you can do all in one measure itself. So let's see that also. I'll just scroll down, and I've created another measure which is sales percentage. And okay, so here you can see I have done all the steps in one measure. So what I have done is I have created a variable called sales, in which I am taking the sum of all sales amount. Then again I am doing all sales, in which I am using all function and passing on the fact internet sales table and calculating all the sales amount, and then I am dividing them. So this will obviously I place this inside the table, so it is returning me the same number. So there isn't any difference. The only way is that you can choose both the techniques, whichever suits you. So whether you can split it into three parts. Basically splitting actually helps us that the same measure can be used somewhere else also, like sales amount or all sales amount. So these become reusable measures, and they can be used somewhere else also. So that is one way of doing it. But if you already know that okay, this would be a one-time activity, so you can do all the calculations in one measure itself. That's up to you. Now coming to another measure, I have created all selected sales percentage. Okay, so what is this? So here I am introducing another command which is all selected, which belongs to this same family of all functions. So what all selected does is, whenever used inside a visual, all selected will behave the same way, right? The difference we will see is that all, as I mentioned, that all will ignore all the filters, whether it is inside the visual or outside the visual. Okay, or even if it is a report level filter or page level filter, all will ignore all the filters. Okay, but all selected will ignore only the filters which are present inside the visual, that is this one, right? But not the outer filters, whether they are present inside the slicer or inside the page filter or report filter. Let me just select this particular all selected sales percentage, then I will show you what I have done here is. So you can see that instead of all, I have chosen all selected command, right? The only difference between the previous measure and this measure is that there I used all, and here I am using all selected. Okay, now let's go back to the dashboard. Now here you can see that the I have placed no filter as of now in the English product subcategory name. Even let's open this filter pane. So you can say this is empty, this is clean. There are no report level filters, no page level filters, and no visual outer visual level filters, that is the slicer filter, acting as of now. So now in this case, all and all selected will behave the same way, and they are giving the same numbers. Now the difference lies in when I suppose select three particular, let me select one more. Okay, so now you will see the difference. Now you can see that sales percentage, which is using all command and all selected. So now what has happened is, actually because all is still ignoring these filters, the sales amount will be the total sales amount will not be this one. It will be the original one, which was a very big number. If you remember, you can just recap the video and just see that what was the number. So the same way the percentages are getting calculated, and they are not being affected, right? But these percentages will now be changed. As you can see that they are changed, and now for these values, this is the total percentage, this is the all sales amount, right? So now what is happening is, now 39360 is getting divided by this number instead of the previous number, which was very big amount, around 29 millions something. So now it is getting divided by this number, and that's why it is returning a high value as compared to these. So similarly, all these values are getting divided by this number, and it amounts to 100% because this number is 100%. So it will always return the total percentage as 100 instead of this value, because this is being calculated based on the previous value. The denominator is the previous value, but here in this case the denominator is this one. So that's why it will be this number divided by this number will be 100%, right? In case of total, and in case of these four subcategories, we can say that these all numbers are getting divided by this number. So this is the difference between all and all selected, where we use the outer filter, where the filter is out of this particular visual, this table visual. So this gives us the difference between all and all selected. So there could be such use cases in your report where you want to show, suppose you select any filter and you only want to consider this as the universe. Suppose these 5-6 categories as the universe, and you want to compare the percentage sales. So in this case, all selected will work for you. But if you don't want that, then all will work for you. It depends on the use case. Okay friends, so in this video now I have covered the all selected and all except. So we have seen that how we can use all as a calculated table, all except to create a calculated table, and then we have seen that how we can use all inside a measure and all selected also inside a measure. So now before I end this video, I just want to discuss with you some important points regarding these particular 3 commands. So let's switch to the important points. So as I mentioned that all is not mandatory in case of calculated table, as there are no filters affecting it. So basically while calculating or while creating the calculated table, you can use other commands also. We'll talk in other videos that all is not the only command to create a calculated table. There are other commands also. So in this case, since while creating a calculated table there are no filters acting, so in this case basically there is no point talking about the filter context. So another point is all always returns the unique value of column. So we have already discussed it, that it will if you are passing a single column to all command, it will always return the unique values inside that column. Okay, and it will always also return the blank row. Suppose in that column there is a blank row present. Okay, so it will also return that blank row also, because that is also unique value. It's in itself that blank value, so it will get returned. Now if you want to ignore the blank row, you can use, there is another function workaround which is called all no blank row. So the behavior of all and all no blank row is exactly same. The only difference is the all will return the blank row if present, blank value, and all no blank row will not return it. Second very important point is that all ignores the filter defined in the report, which we have already discussed, that we have seen also that all ignores the filter defined anywhere in the report, right? Third is a table expression cannot be passed as an argument to all. Now this is very important point friends. The only arguments which can be passed to all command is a single column name, a list of column names, comma separated 2, 3 or many, whatever column names. So in that case it will return the unique, all the existing unique possible combinations which are already present inside the table, right? So those combinations. The third argument is the table name itself, the full table name. Okay, so these are the only possible arguments to all command. You cannot pass an expression, like you cannot use filter a particular command and then put it inside all function. That would be the DAX will throw error in this case. Now coming to the fourth point, when more than one column is passed as an argument, all returns all the existing combinations of the values in the columns of that table. This we have already discussed. Coming to the fifth point regarding all except is used in the case when we want to include most of the columns but not all in the result. I showed you this in the calculated table which we created using the all except command, and in this case also it will always return all the unique existing combination of values. So the behavior would exactly be the same of all and all except. The only difference is all except is used in the scenarios where we want to exclude those particular columns. Okay, so that is the only difference. It is mainly used as an argument to calculate function in advanced calculation. So friends, all except is actually a very complex command in itself, and this was the most simplistic use case of all except, where you can create a calculated table. Mostly it is used as an argument to calculate function, and when we move on there, when we reach when we'll study the calculate function, then we'll discuss about these advanced scenarios where all except command can be used. So it will come in later videos. So the last point is all selected. It takes into account the outer filters in the report. Okay, so as we have already seen in that particular visual, table visual, so inside the visual, it was not taking into account the filters, whatever, all the categories were also acting as filters on it. Okay, so those were not taken into account, but the outer filter on the same product category name was taken into consideration by the all selected command. Again, the most complex function is DAG in DAG. So basically, I'm not intimidating you by saying that it is the most complex function. Basically, by complex, I mean that it has various use cases. So in every use case, it acts differently. So that needs to be remembered. But in this case, we'll be discussing only this much about all selected. So as we move on in this particular series, so in later videos it will come that how all selected can be used. Obviously it is also used in calculate command, so there are some advanced use cases of all selected and we will study there. Okay, so friends, with this we come to the end of this video. Hope you like this video, and if you do have any questions or any comments you want to post, so please post in the comment section, and if I will try to answer your questions in the best possible way, so that I can make you understand. But if you have not understood this particular command, if you have any selected question, you can write me and I will try to answer in my best possible way. In the next video, we will cover a few more table functions which are still left, and hope to see you soon. Take care and goodbye.